Praising my arse. I'm jamming to a song that only I can hear. It's pretty bad. People are going to think you're crazy. Okay, y'all. The Holy Bible. Or my Bible, at least. Okay. We are on page 47 of today's book, y'all. Turn to page 47. Anyway. Okay. So, we are going to be going on to modern themes and common elements. Now, if I tend to forget, which I might because I've had a million things on my mind lately, I'm going to try to, at the end of the video, give an explanation. And I shuffled for at least 5 minutes. I mean, I hardcore shuffled. I shuffled all over the table. So there's like, I literally picked the cards out of the deck that I wanted to correspond with the questions, because if that was true, they would have been totally different cards. They would have been like the devil and some other shit. So they would have been very devious cards. Believe me. So people would have been like, oh, she did that shit on purpose. No, if I did the shit on purpose, it would have depicted the person that I was in questioning. It would have made him look like the Antichrist, because that's really what I feel the person I was in questioning, I feel is the Antichrist. So, yeah. Okay. Moving on. Okay. Many pagans celebrate modern Samhain on October 31st, the same day as Halloween. Some, however, prefer to perform their observations or observance on the full moon closest to the Sabbath. Hey, Christopher. Okay. On the full moon closest to the Sabbath date. We are reading Samhain. Did you ditch already, Christopher? Chris! You're not supposed to come in and ditch. At least you came in and said hi. My favorite YouTuber buddy. Got to love my buddy. Okay. Okay. Closest to the Sabbath date. Other consult almanacs. Okay, you better be here or you're going to get grounded. All right. Other consult almanacs determine the official astrological cross-quarter day. I know this word, and you got me tongue-tied. Okay, cool. Awesome sauce. Because I saw someone else come in and leave. That's why I thought it was you. I'm like, you already left? Son of a... Made me feel bad. I was like, what the heck? They probably thought I was doing a tarot card reading. That's why they came in and ditched. I was like, the only reason why they come in here. So rude. Turds. I swear, some people, they just want to know what their life's about on tarot. People. Anyway. Often it is a quiet, solemn occasion in private pagan households. Many see it as the most important ritual of the year. Families with small children will often negotiate a compromise to let their children enjoy the costumes, pageantry, and candy while also honoring their own traditions. Modern themes and common elements. Elements. My cat is over here purring and sniffing my CBD out of my vape. Why Halloween has become almost entirely secular. I hate this when they put words in here because I sound stupid trying to pronunciate them. Samhain has retained much of its spiritual flavor. It is still a day to honor the dead and to think about death along with other things that we fear. It is still a time to meditate. I'm gonna have a bonfire this week. That sounds good. Bonfire and incense and CBD. Yeah. My eyes got really blue thinking about bonfires. I'm such a freaking firefly. Okay. Where was I? I got lost thinking about fire. And I'm a water element. Okay. Aha. Bah. Why All Souls actually aligns with the Christian holiday in terms of spiritual intent. Why did they have to put that word in there? My head's going to turn and I'm going to throw up pea soup. In the city. They got a city. Oh, my cat cow's out. I got to show you him. The cat cow. It's a Spitfire. Say hi, cat cow. He's the one sifting my CBD. That's my big fat cat. I will show you why he's called cat cow, but then he'll start moving and then he's a... Go look at the birdies. You can't eat them though. Okay. Those who live in towns and cities can partake in the most famous Halloween tradition, trick-or-treating. I still trick-or-treat. I get candy and I don't even have to do nothing, even though I dress up. Every year, usually during hours set by the municipal city? Municipal city? Municipal? Why do they always got to put big ass words in these books? Comedy hour. The witch tries to figure out big ass words. Municipality. Okay. Parents or older siblings take costume youngsters door to door to ask for candy. In return, the neighbors distribute. I know how to say this fucking word. I'm getting tongue tied. Distributing candy, get their very own costume pageant delivered to their door. Just imagine if people would sit there and be like, okay, I'm going to sit here and judge you. And if your costume sucks, I'm going to sit here and be like, 1 candy, no candy, 3 candy. Halloween. Ooh, that would piss me off. Man, then I would definitely have Halloween shenanigans. Okay. Okay, distributing candy, get their very own costume pageant delivered to their door. Along with this tradition comes a tradition many people do not enjoy. One of all mischief and vandalism. While most of the time vandals stick to smashing jack-o'-lanterns, I don't know, huh? That would blow a corn nut in half. You know what I mean? What's his name? The one everybody hated. The British one. He was funny as hell. God, what's his name? You're absolutely horrible. What's his name? What's his name? What's his name? God. Ugh, I know his name. It's on the tip of my tongue too. And was he British or was he Aussie? I'm gonna say because he was with Paula Abdul for like a whole hot minute too. They dated each other for like a hot second, and I think they split up. And then there was like a whole, yeah, Simon Cowell. Yes, thank you. Yeah, that was absolutely dreadful. Like they had him on like Scary Movie 3, and then they all shot him up and shit when they were like doing the rap battle. That shit was fucking funny. I was in stitches. I almost fell off the couch laughing my ass off at that shit. That shit was hilarious. And then they mimicked him on Meet the Spartans. And they have that dude where he's like, I'm not gay. The dude was kicking everybody in the fucking hole. Oh my God. I watched too many movies. I'm corrupt. I'm a corrupted witch. I'm like an encyclopedia of movies. Okay. I start reading. I'm off topic. I get off topic so quick. Hyperactivity sucks. You know that? It's like talking about something and, oh, there's a squirrel. Oh, there's a bird. What were we talking about? That's why people think hyperactivity people are on crack cocaine because we're so fucking hyper. It's like, no, it's not. It's an attention deficit disorder. It's not crack cocaine. It's just we get off topic easy. Okay, we were on vandalism. Okay. Well, most of the time, vandals stick to smashing jack-o'-lanterns and throwing toilet paper in trees. You should make merch. I would. I mean, I have like crazy designs. I mean, there's certain stuff that I like, and I wouldn't know how many people would buy my stuff. I know I have friends that would. They would wear stuff I would design. Like stuff that I used to make when I was younger. Like I would like have like t-shirt people make stuff that I would wear. Half my friends would steal my shit. It was like different designs that I would come up with, and they would always steal my shit because of my nickname, and I would put different stuff on it, and they would always steal my shit. And I'm like, can I have my shit back? And they're like, no, we're wearing it. We love this. Because I would go to specific people to make my shirts, and I would always try to get logo stickers with my nickname on it. And then I would try to get like with like a pentagram put on it or a pentacle or something. And I couldn't get stickers done. But I would actually like it if anybody would know anybody who would do merch for me. And if anybody would buy merch, I would love it if they could. Like to do a sponsorship, that would be freaking awesome. I would love it. I mean, I don't know. I don't have too many subscribers, but I know my friends would definitely buy stuff I would have. Witch Flames logo. Yeah, I would definitely do Witch Flames. I know a lot of people would love my logo. I already have my logo. Already. I already got it stamped. It's already there. It's just it would probably change because my hair changes color. I like changing my hair color a lot. So I'd have a chunky faced witch, and she'd be crazy with crystal blue eyes. Or I'd have like a crystal ball or something with, I mean, I would come up with like a whole bunch of different things. I mean, because there's stuff that I enjoy a lot. So, I mean, because I'm obsessed with like witchy stuff. I'm obsessed with, of all time, starting when I was younger, that kind of impacted me was like The Crow. And then, of course, Hocus Pocus. Gotta have Hocus Pocus. If you don't have Hocus Pocus, it's a crime. And then The Labyrinth with David Bowie. My husband got me into Dark Crystal. The Skeksis. Gotta love the Skeksis. You gotta love the Skeksis. The freaking birds. They made me laugh. And of course, Olgra. I love Olgra. I said if I could be a lady, but it would be a mix between her and then the little elf. Because I would have to be cute, but then I'd have to be an all-seer. So it would have to be a mixture between them because I wouldn't want to be butt ugly. It's offensive. True. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure. Like I would get a shirt done, like a cartoon version of myself. Because my cousin, he's a tattoo artist, so if he could draw like a cartoon version of I have like a lot of people that knows how to draw. So like if anybody would do like a cartoon version of me that wouldn't make it look butt ugly and submit it, isolate. Mm, mm, I actually would like to broaden out, and because like I said, me being wanting to be an author, if the world doesn't go to crap, um like this kind of start off my career and get people to kind of get used to me and kind of get used to my brand, get used to my bubbliness, get used to my craziness, see my serious side, but really get used to just me and see that, yeah, I do self isolate a little bit, but I do like getting out. Me, I like going to the parks. I love hanging out at the parks and I love nature. If I could figure a way to, yeah, right now we're self isolating because of COVID-19. Um, we can't really do too much where I'm at. They tell all of us to stay indoors as much as possible. We're not like on hardcore, um, like hardcore, but me, I'm being careful. So I'm staying self isolated as much as possible because of it. Um, I'm kind of a loner anyway. So when this started happening, I'm like, it's kind of good that I stayed indoors a lot anyway. I like exercising, I like chilling out, but because I used to love walking a lot, but with this hitting, it's like I didn't really like being around too many. I like having my own little intimate circle that I had, but with this, it hit me hard because I couldn't go out and see my close circle of friends. Yeah, I heard about it. Like the Pope had it, the Prime Minister, um, like some of our big top people have it. And I was like, oh my God. And they're not even saying how many people really do got it. I mean, like, they're not really saying the case of how many kids actually have it. They're hiding how many children have it. And that's what's kind of kicking my butt because we've actually had kids here in the United States dying and they're not really reporting it. And I'm like, why are you lying? Why are y'all lying? And that's why I did the tarot card reading because I think a lot of the truth's going to finally start getting revealed because I don't want to get too far because I want to keep reading before I start going deep into the tarot card reading. And I'm going to start trying to do more readings and trying to get deep into it where I'm talking to the deities and asking them more questions because I'm kind of searching for answers through them and trying to figure it out through them. And I've been praying to them and kind of seeking reverence through them because instead of me getting mad and kind of like I did on my last video where I went off really bad on Trump, it's like I'm not going to cause myself to have a heart attack because I know I said I wasn't going to do a controversy video, but it wasn't really controversy because it's something that is going on to all of us in the world. So me popping off like I did, it's like, if he would have done what he was supposed to have done, I think all of us wouldn't have had it as bad and it wouldn't have hit all of us as bad as it did. And I think we all would have had a better chance at fighting this as we did, and it wouldn't have been as overpopulated as it was. And, he was over cocky, talking about ex-presidents and talking crap about like, oh, Obama, with the H1N1 and he was a lousy president. And, he went into office talking all this crap about everybody else. But look at him now. Look at this outbreak epidemic. This is worse than the H1N1. And it's like he's being brought down to his knees. This man, as I call him, man child, is being humbled. And instead of him saying, you know what, instead of, let me put this book up for a hot second before I lose my place. Yeah, right here. And I'll get back to this because, yeah, he's screwed. Because honestly, what the religious sector, and me being a witch, what they're telling religious people is Trump was born specifically on a certain day because God wanted him to be born on a certain day. He was supposed to be put in office on a specific day because he's a man of God. Because supposedly he was to deliver the Israelites and the Jews. Anybody could have done that. But see, what these hypocritical religious people are not paying attention to, where he's up there talking about the Israelites, the Jews, he's turning around and he's looking at somebody going, he's winking at them. He is being polished. And yeah, exactly. Bush knew about 9/11. They didn't do shit. Obama, he went after bin Laden, got him. Done, over, fixed. Wasn't bullcrap. Clinton, done, over, got it. And it's like, instead of fighting over Republican, Democrat, all this bullcrap, it should be about we're people. We need to come together. We need to come to a consensus. We need to stop fighting over who's who's what, who has money, who doesn't have money. We need to stop this kind of bullcrap because something isn't working. Something is going wrong. Someone is making designer perfume, diseases and using it against us. And what they're not paying attention is, and I hate to say this, I'm not trying to get hit. I'm not trying to get sick. I'm not trying to have some covert, assassination on my ass. But I care because being that I'm a military family member, I know to understand things. And when you have a president being friends with two national terrorists, something's wrong. Okay? You have someone he's being friends with who hates his own part of his country. Kim Jong-un hates what part of Korea? And they got hit. A certain part of Russia that does not like Putin got hit with COVID. But the part of Russia that's all hell Putin didn't get hit with it. People are not adding these things together. And see, the thing is they're being brainwashed, they're being manipulated. They're not understanding this, and I'm not trying to start a fight. I'm not wanting people to come and bully me. I'm not trying to get harassed like I was, but the thing is I can understand certain things, and I'm seeing things for what they truly are. And the thing is, we have someone that is very dangerous in our White House that I think is a terrorist. And I hate to say that, but the thing is, we are being held against our will right now, because when they were about to impeach him, and I can pull it up, he said we were all going to regret to impeach him. Exactly. Because the thing is, he didn't like China. Because China, for one, has the most tech. China, for one, is above us in tech, like at least over seven tiers above us. China's been trying to work out deals with us. Okay, they've been trying to get us to go more green, to rid us of our towers that we have, to get rid of the power plants that we have, which I agree. We need to get rid of our coal. We need to get rid of our power plants. We need to put in solar panels. We need to put in water panels, like natural water that actually pulls in water electricity. We need to put in wind turbines that actually circulates, like put it into the areas that has a lot of wind, put in work like the wind areas. And they're not sitting here thinking that we can put in so much electricity. Like here in Texas, we have so much sun and heat that we can produce so much electricity that we could probably power half the United States alone if we have natural green here. It is redundant. Texas is the main producer of oil. We are not running out of oil anytime soon. And they're making out that we're running out of oil that we got to buy from, like, all these other places. It is called being smart. It is called, I'm going to buy up all these other people's oil and turn around and sell, their oil back to them and say it's our oil at a higher, more economy price and rip them off. It's called, the rich man's game. The bigger wolf is going to, get fed more. And it's like, no, tycoons are going to be the end of us all if we do not take a stand. People like Trump needs to get stomped. This man is no holy man, as these religious people are trying to put him as. As people that do not have like this weird, nasty ooze of religious bullcrap over their face, we can see him as what he is. He's a tyrannical. He's the Antichrist. If there's anything he is, he's the Antichrist. Okay? He is a false prophet. He is someone that is going to bring forth, he's going to usher in something really horrible. He's not going to usher in anything good. He's bringing forth bad things. This man is horrible. And then they're saying that God doesn't choose the best person to bring forth his word. I'm sorry. In the Bible, every person that I have ever read, and I grew up from little itty baby all the way up until I was like 15 in Bible, in church. So any apostle that I read about was godly. They had no bad bone, quite literally, in them. They were the word, they were like, someone just hire a hitman. I wish it was that easy, but I really don't want that, because there is actually some good people in the White House. There is, but like I said, instead of it being, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, why can't it just be, I'm a person? I'm a red-blooded person, But there's these people like on the news, and I seen like right here on my right here on this live chat side, like that one day I had all that bad negative stuff that one day, and I had to keep deleting all that bad shit. It was just like that. Okay. I went in and I was sitting here and I was listening to the news, and I seen all this stuff. And no, you're fine. No, you're fine. Don't apologize, Christopher. You're fine. Don't apologize, sweetheart. I agree, but then it's one of those, I agree, but then I disagree. It's like I'm 50-50, because I really would like, there's things I would capture that man child, and there's things I would do to him that would probably turn everybody's stomachs, that they would see what I have in my mind that I would do to him. But then again, that would make me just like him, so I wouldn't do it. Because that would make me be just like him, so I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be the bigger person, even though I'm trying to educate people on who he is, and I'm trying to do the right thing, because people need to see the tyrant he is. They need to understand the truth, because I am literally shaking because the animosity that I can feel. Because when I think of him and I envision him and I start trying to tune into his energy, my hands just start trembling. And that's just not because I'm making my hands tremble. It's because what I feel when I start trying to tap into his energy, it makes me almost want to puke. And people do not understand that. He literally hates certain parts of the economy. People that do not fit into his economy mindset are people that do not make a certain budget. If you do not make probably over at least a 1 million set, probably not even that, he wants you dead. I'll put it to you point blank. He wants you to get the coronavirus. That's why he is telling people, go back to work. Go back to work. Please. I want y'all back. Everybody's wanting to go back to work. Yeah. He's wanting every last one of y'all to get COVID-19 because he feels it would rid him of having to pay y'all out any dividends, because he has to pass all these quarterly laws and all these quarterly things. You know, this is something that if Obama was in office, it even wouldn't be a thought. Obama would already have the money in our pockets. He wouldn't even listen. He'd be like, no, we're passing this now. People need the money. People need the food. We're getting it out to them. Don't tell me yes or no. I'm approving this now. Is it? No. We're getting this out to the people. People are not going back to work until this stuff is cleared. This is what we needed. Is someone that has compassion, someone that understands that, guess what? If we do not get this cleared, who is going to take care of America? Who is going to work these jobs? Who is going to take care of y'all when you're hungry, when you don't feel like cooking? Sure the hell ain't going to be you. Are you going to go get in that fast food restaurant and go cook you a burger? Are you going to go in there and make you a taco? Hell no. It's going to be the people that you're at home wanting to go in here and work these jobs and get sicker than hell. Who's gonna manufacture and tape all these packages up when you're ordering from Amazon and Wish and eBay? He doesn't think about this stuff. He's a man-child because he's had a let me take that back. He's had a 24-karat gold spoon in his mouth all his life. He's never really had to lift the wage job, much less a job less than that. No one's ever said, you know what? Let's make you live a hard life, Mr. Trump. Let's make you understand. You know what would make me respect this man-child? And this is actually, I hope this video gets out to him. And this would be a challenge to him. If he wants anybody like myself to respect him, a self-worthless piece of crap, he should make every American have full coverage medical. Everybody in America have full coverage medical, because what is happening thanks to him? Everybody have free medical, including dental, including eye coverage. Everything is covered. Everything cleared, including schools, including everything else. And the thing is, I think about everywhere else that has already free coverage, medical benefits, and everything else. Okay, go ahead, Christopher. And other people don't get this. Every other places that I know that has free coverage, everything, and we're the only country that doesn't. Heats my blood up. And all he can think about is himself. Sitting up in his little white mansion and I will never respect him. I will never have, and there's a lot of us that will never have an inch of respect for him. And all he's worried about is staying in office and getting his vote from the major minority. And the major minority is those that have money. Those that the vote that matters. Someone like myself, our votes don't matter because we're nobodies. And everybody's vote should matter. Where they tell you to get out and vote, I hate to burst everybody's bubble. Our vote doesn't matter. They tell us it does, but it doesn't. If everybody stays home and doesn't vote, you're going to see that our vote doesn't matter. And it's going to shock everybody's asses when you find out, come election, our votes don't matter. You're going to see that if everybody stays home, and you're going to see that they tally up all now, they have all these little fake votes put up, and they say you voted, but you never really did. And you're going to find out and see the truth about your government and your president, and it's going to piss you off. It didn't matter. Times that they say it counts, it doesn't count. But I'm going to quit getting my blood boiling. I'm going to go back to reading Samhain and get back to something I enjoy. But the card, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I asked the cards. I asked them, is Trump going to get revealed as a fake? And I said light was going to be shed on truth. I asked if we were going to get a new president and if religion was going to get put on blast. I'm not trying to shame religion, but, it started off on good things, but the reason why I don't like religion, to be honest, and I'm going to tell y'all, the settlers, pilgrims that came over here, the ones that supposedly brought over and broke bread with my native fathers on Thanksgiving Day and had their independence. They're the ones who brought their religion over. They raped, killed, massacred my Native American brethren. And I talked about this before. So no, I do not respect religion in the least. For what the the English settlers did. My Irish brethren and my other bloodlines did not appreciate what they did. After they had raped a lot of my family that were on the lands, and they killed a lot of them. They scalped them. They bludgeoned them with stones and rocks and shot them with their muskets and everything else. Then they had broke bread and ate the food that my Native American brethren had brought. They ate food that they had brought, and they celebrated on a bloody table for what they had done to my Native American brethren and sister and uncles and aunts and great family members. So no, I do not respect religion in the least, because they left their homes for persecution for what they, things that they believed in, all this crap, and then they came up on our lands and look what they did to my family members of the past. So no, I do not respect religion in the least, and I never will. I will celebrate me being a pagan. I will celebrate my shamanist ways. I will celebrate me being a witch. I will celebrate worshiping the gods and goddesses and my deities. I will celebrate worshiping my Native American ancestors and the ones that are from all my other not religious, scratch that bad word, my spiritual ways. You have to understand, it's hard for me to X that word out on my vocabulary because it was programmed. You have to understand, and that goes to show you, it's programmed into you. It's brainwashed and manipulated into you. So it is very much true. you are manipulated into. It's pinged into you. It's almost like you are brainwashed because you are literally told that you are sheep, that you have to have a shepherd herding you because you can't think for yourself, that you have to have a messenger of God tell you how to live your life, how to, do things, because you don't know how this stuff, because it's too meaty for you, because you can't digest these words. Why can't you digest these words by yourself, that you have to have this apostle of God do it for you, that you have to have him tell you? Because they have to manipulate you, because they have to tell you these certain words. They have to manipulate you with all these certain things and these little sparkles and things, because they are trained at Bible camp at how to do these things. So, no, I will never respect religion. I will never in in a million years tell anybody to go back to it. Now, the spirituality that they took from my forefathers and from what they took from my paganism, because they took things from our pagan holidays, they took spells from our spell books, and they put them in the Bible. So yes, they do manipulate people with spells. They do bewitch people in church. That's how I know they brainwash people. They are taught how to brainwash them. That's how a witch knows. A witch knows their spells. I can look through the Bible and I know which spells that they're using to manipulate their followers. They know how to invoke guilt. They know how to invoke sorrow. They know how to make them feel guilty, to invoke them to pay. Pay forward. Pay the church for your sins. A down payment. You have to pay God. You have to pay tithe. You have to pay for this. You have to pay God for all that he is giving you. You have to put forth tithe, or you're going to be, God's going to punish you because God is giving you all this. So you have to pay so much for this, that, and the other. If God's giving you all this, don't you think God's taken already something from that? These people are being manipulated so hardcore that they don't know their head from their asshole. A witch knows. They have stolen so many spells from us and put it in their Bible, and they are taught which ones to invoke when they are doing certain scriptures and certain teachings, when they're doing Sunday school lessons, to do certain things so they can get certain amount of money and certain amount of things. They are primed and propered and taught at Bible camps, at Bible schools. Like I said, a witch can look through a spell book and know exactly a spell is. Book of Psalms. I didn't know when I was younger why the Book of Psalms is one of my favorite books of the Bible. Come to find out, when I got a spell book. Sorry, my allergies are bothering me. I need to take a Benadryl. Come to find out, they call the Book of Psalms the cursing Psalms. There's so many curses in the Book of Psalms. It's unreal. There's so many parts of the Bible that have curses, that have memory spells, that have spells for guilt, that have spells for control, mind manipulation. They're sheep. They're being primed for the slaughter. So a witch does not respect those that have to control those to make money. Only reason why they respect Trump, because he's made so much money off of doing the same thing that they've been doing for centuries. Shit. Watch the show Salem and you'll see exactly what I mean. And they think they're going to heaven? They're full of shit. Moving on to Samhain, something lighter. I wasn't mad. I was educating. This is a very educational video. My age showed itself a little bit. Sometimes I can't find the right words, but the education will still pop out on sometimes. Okay. In the city, those who live in towns and cities can partake in the most famous Halloween tradition, trick or treating, every year, usually during hours set by. Okay, we already read that. Along with this tradition comes a tradition many people do. Okay, the mischief. Okay. Okay, the toilet paper and the trees. Some do more damage than that. Okay. This goes back to the old Irish traditions where mischief makers would pull pickets off fences, take door off hinges, or even break windows. Oof. These practices were closely associated with threshold magic, not that it made a mess the next day in the country. People who celebrate Samhain or Halloween in rural areas often partake in slightly different traditions. In some areas, houses are too sparse for trick or treating to be practical for families with children. Often in those situations, community members gather in public schools or community buildings and host a communal Halloween party, which those are pretty cool. Along with treats, children get to play games such as bobbing or balloon darts, and adults and teenagers can enjoy a scary movie in a different room. If a community is so sparse that this is not possible, pagans often turn their focus toward the family practice debunked. As the years go on, historians and archaeologists often turn up information that proves old information wrong. One such example is the case of Pomona's Day. Pomona's Day. I guess, yeah. It's Pomona apostrophe S. Pomona's Day. While many sources popular attribute Pomona's Day to October 31st, an investigation of the ancient Roman calendar reveals that a celebration of her or an orchid harvest happened on August 23rd and did not have any direct association with death or ancestral. The military government often moved the days of local celebrated holidays to different times of the year as a means of reducing their influences, which pissed me off when Christians move certain holidays to fit their own bullshit beliefs. I hated that. Like when they turned like Samhain to Halloween or all day, like where they call it All Devil's Day or some bull crap. I hate that when they do that. Like all Passover Day when it's just Easter or Austria, or they try to change things. It's like just quit trying to make things so, and they talk about paganism or pagans pagans are just devils. Does it look like I have horns. We're not going there. Moving on. According to this theory, when the Romans invaded Celtic lands, the church decided to combine Pomona's observance with the Celtic pagan death observance. Over time, people came to assume that these holidays coincided. In the modern age, such misinformation is not historical inaccuracy, but is instead urban legend. For instance, in the 1970s, concerned parents became fearful that their neighbors might stick razor blades or poisons in the candy given out to trick-or-treaters. which that actually did happen in El Paso, where I used to live. We actually had to check our candy, even in Missouri. They had to check our candy. San Angelo, Texas, they had to check our candy. So even nowadays, we still have to check our candy. You know, like anytime you trick or treat, you have to check your candy. They still put stuff in your candy. You can never be safe. You can never be too sure. People still do mess up stuff. I mean, they still put stuff in there, especially nowadays. President Trump is live. Watch it now. Blech. Anyway, hospitals and police stations began to offer to X-ray candy halls, and it eliminated and distribution of homemade candies or natural fruits, natural fruits such as apples. There was never a single reported instance of a child finding a razor blade or worse in his or her candy bag, but the fear won out and the tradition of homemade edible treats disappeared. But you know what? They never actually had to live in a big city. So, they didn't have to worry about that. Big cities, we really had to have that problem. And it wasn't homemade treats. It was actually like Three Musketeer, kid bit into it and actually half their tongue was cut off. And actually El Paso, Texas. This happened back in like 1989 or 1988 when I was a kid. So wasn't that long ago. Well, to me, that was long ago then. But from this, different pagans, different practices. Many modern pagans celebrate Samhain either on the full moon closest to October 31st or on the date itself. While Celtic in origin, pagans will celebrate in a way culturally appropriate to their tradition. At Samhain season, it is appropriate to invoke the Morgan, Daga, Dagda, can't pronounce some of them sometimes, Hades, Persephone, Hecate pantheons for those who practice quieter home-based traditions. This is often a time of dumb suppers, quiet divinations, and family reflections. Mostly I invoke Hecate or Morgan. The list of traditions mentioned here is far from exhaustive. I don't know that word, so I'm going to skip it. Many pagans may also observe feasts dedicated to specific chthonic deities through the month of November in addition to or in place of Samhain. Wicca or Wiccan, whichever one you want to do. Wiccans consider Samhain the end of the old year and the beginning of the new. At this point in the Sabbath cycle, the goddess has descended from the earth to the land of the dead, where she will see and mate with her beloved, the dying god. Her opening the door to the world of the dead is believed to be why the Celtic Wiccans follow the Wiccan Rede and the god and goddess soft dualism, but also belief rituals include ancestor altars, dumb suppers, and divination. They often invoke Celtic gods and goddesses of death or those directly associated with Samhain, such as the Morgan. Celtic Reconstruction. Celtic Reconstructionists are pagans who are trying to rebuild ancient Celtic paganism as exactly as possible. They call Samhain Ochi Samhain Samania and try to make their observations as close to the first frost as possible. Nick Haina. Often to Morgana is Tuitha, D. Dinaya, God, Dagda, mated at the river Unis. Some of these I'm trying to pronounce as best as I can, but I might be debauching them, so have fun laughing at me. In this myth, the Morgan represents the forces of the death in the moon, while the Dagda their homes with juniper, established an altar to honor the dead, and prepare a feast with the first food set on a plate at a reserved seat at the table or at the altar for the dead. At this dinner, people share memories of their departed loved ones and make toast. After the meal, there is a divination and storytelling. Druidry. Just say druid. For druids, October 30, 31st, October 30, 31st, October 31st is Samhain, a festival to honor the dead. They have many names for it, often based on their own Celtic cultural alignment. Names include La Samahana, the Spit, Cat Cow. Hey. Cat Cow is all over me right now. Hey, don't drop the vape.
Mother, are you gonna help me with the clothes later on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cat Cow, I may eat with you soon. Spit, go that way, go that way, go that way, go to your brother. Okay. La Samhana, Someone, or Sony, Sani, Sunani, November. Some also call it Colony, Gaith, Colin Goth, first day of winter, or Nas Sain Colleen Gold. I'm debauching these so bad. First night of winter, among many other names, it was one of the 4 fire festivals in their spirit tradition in the Kalicha. Crone. Excuse me. And I'm Irish. I should be able to say this, but I'm so far off on my Irish tongue. It's unreal. Comes to the strip the leaves from the trees, and because of the veil is thinning, all time becomes one time. Past, present, and the future happen simultaneously on Samhain night. The synchronization makes it possible for the dead to walk among the living and for the living to communicate with their dead. Often the modern observation will include a bonfire along with a remembrance of the dead. Okay. Traditional witchcraft. Traditional witchcraft of Britain sees Samhain as one of the great 4 fire festivals. Samhain is one of the 3 nights of the year when the veil between the worlds grows thin. The other 2 begin May Eve and Midsummer. Some traditional witches cast 2 circles during their Samhain ceremonies, one for the living and one for the dead. It is a time of communing with the dead, especially ancestors, and traditional witches may hi. Mwah. I love you too, my little familiar. Watch out. Don't want to spill that. Yes, I love you too, my gorgeous. Yes, mommy loves you. I don't want your booty in my face. Especially ancestors, and traditionally witches may make it a point to visit a cemetery, crossroad, or burial mound at this time. Hi, baby. Hi. Yes. Mommy is reading familiar. Yes. He's such a familiar too. Hey, you can't type. He's saying hi to y'all in his way. Hi, booty. Help. Cat booty. Oh my gosh, they have a Corona task force? Oh, I just got a message. They have a Corona task force. I'm scared of that. The Corona has a task force and it's coming to kick our ass. I'm scared of that. Sander, come get Spit. He is attacking me. The Spitfire is waging war on his mother. Help. I love you. I love you. Look at this fish. Look at this fish. I'm getting hair everywhere. He's like, I'm too fat. I can't get down. You're going to have to come get him. He's like, I'm a fat bastard. I can't. When you're too fat and you can't do it. See, cat cow. He's got a big udder. And he's got a cat cow mark right there. Sander, help. I got him for you. Come get him.
Come here, Spit.
Cat cow. I need to get a hamster wheel worm to make him run in a circle. Okay. Cat hair. Cat hair. See what I mean about the familiars? Okay. Samhain is considered a time to connect to the dark god and goddess and to meditate on what they have to teach. Drink more fluids. Okay. An eclectic witch. Eclectic witches borrow from different traditions in a manner that spirituality resonates with them. During Samhain, they often celebrate by honoring their physical ancestors, but also their spiritual ancestors, including other witches and pagans from before their time. Rituals focus on the dark of the year and often evoke gods of the dead from different pantheons. Persephone and Pluto, Kali Ma, the Morgan and the Daga, and the Norse goddess Hel are all possibilities during an eclectic Samhain ritual. I also invoke Hel. And Kali Ma, and maybe Kali. Neo-pagan. Neo-pagans do not necessarily identify with any one tradition or methods of practice, nor are they interested in going through the initial practices common to Wicca and some forms of witchcraft. For those who celebrate Samhain, it is a time to set out ancestor altars, to tell stories about people who have gone before us, to practice divination, and to gather around bonfires or attend public Samhain rituals and share in a sense of spiritual communities. Strega Hera. Practitioners of Strega, or Italian-rooted witchcraft, call October 31st La Festa del Umbrea, or Shadowfest. At this time, the goddess of their pantheon descends to the underworld to confront death. There she meets the god Dis and a dialoga about why things must suffer and die ensues while she is there. They have intercourse, and there is a sharing of mysteries. Strega has set out meals for spirits, leave milk and honey for fairy folk, and remember their beloved dead. Heathen. Norse or Astro. Pagans call October 31st the winter's night. Some may call this date elf finding or fray finding. At this time, they honor ancestors, give thanks for the land, and honor both death and all wisdom. Their ancestor Norse considered this date summer's end. On October 31st, some fells their last shelf of the harvest, then blesses it and leaves it in the field. And it says, and leaves it in the field. From this night on, they believe that the wild hunt, a ghostly party that hunts any traveler it might catch, rules the night. I've heard that story. Um, Helix, Hellenist pagans. Hellenic pagans do not align with the Celtic pantheon. Instead, they spend a month of October honoring Ares and the month of November honoring Artemis. Borgermanum, roughly September, October, does not have a festival of the dead called Janissa that mainly honors deceased parents. Since the exact process of celebration is unclear in historical sources, Hellenic reconstructionists make private choices whether to observe the holiday. A few may make a personal choice to align the celebration with Samhain as a matter of community connection, but Celtic holiday fall outside Hellenic practice, fairy witchcraft. Those who practice fairy tradition of witchcraft believe in Dramatic union within the divine. This means the rituals involve direct engagement through dancing, chanting, and trance work. At Samhain, they perform a ritual where they open a gate to the land of the dead, and through that gate call the deities to come and prepare them for death. They spend most of their Samhain rituals communing with their departed loved ones. Reclaiming. Witches who practice the reclaiming tradition consider themselves to be reclaiming the powers of equality and justice. In San Francisco, every Samhain they honor the holiday and their justice work with their large public spiral dance. In this dance, people join hands and dance in a grapevine, step together. From a aerial view, the movement forms a giant spiral. I've heard of this. This is actually pretty awesome. In Wicca and other in initiatory pagan traditions, Samhain is also a popular time for initiations, ritual calendar for covens between Samhain and Yule, because most pagans consider initiation profoundly transformation. They see the thin veil as the optimal time for dramatic change. You know, it's weird. Some words I can read easy with being dyslexic, and other words that are simplistic I struggle with. More complicated words sometimes are easier, and then other words that are bigger are hard. And then some simplistic words I struggle with. It's weird. Okay. Okay. They see the thin veil as the optimal time for dramatic change. The old self, pre initiated, dies to the world, and the newly initiated takes the former person's place. Other holiday practices. While Samhain and Halloween are the best known holidays as this time of year, there are others. Many are festivals of the dead or preparations for winter. All Souls Day are also called All Saints Day. All Souls Day happens on November 1st or on the first Sunday of November. depending on the Christian denomination. Originally part of the Christian attempt to absorb Samhain or similar festivals of the dead, it became an observance intertwined with the pagan holidays that honor the dead. This day of holy obligation in the Catholic Church is a time to pray for all the dead and to ask for the intercession of the dead that ascended to heaven. In Catholic tradition, these prayers were necessary because of a belief that certain souls remained in purgatory and afterlife halfway between heaven and hell, where souls might work out their issues before moving on. Catholic and Orthodox Christians observe these holidays with the most ceremony. Some denominations split their observance into two holidays, with November 1st as All Saints' Day and November 2nd as All Souls' Day. November 2nd is for the souls that might still have some sin to work off in purgatory, while wait, is for the souls that might still have some sin to work off in purgatory. Whether or not these dead need the dead need the prayers of the living is a point of controversy among some Christians, which yeah, I know about that. Dias de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. I love Day of the Dead. In Mexico, the holiday Dia de los Muertos on November 1st honors the day with food, processions, and flowers. The practice of honoring the dead had been part of the Aztec lifelong before the conquistadors arrived. However, the arrival of the Catholic Church in Mexico meant subjection to a Catholic routine. Rather than ban the day, the church overwrote its meaning with All Souls Day and moved the date from roughly July or August to November 1st instead of supplanting the day practices. This move by the Catholic Church sanctified the holiday for the people observing it. Well, at least they had it. At least it's still there, unlike the Christians. During the season, people build altars to their departed loved ones, make skulls out of wood and candy, clean and decorate graves, and hold picnics at the gravesite of the dead loved ones. It is different from All Souls Day in that those who observe it welcome the possibility of visitations in their homes from their ancestors, which it is very beautiful. I love it. Autumn Dizzy. It's Dziady. I've never heard of this. In Slavic countries, October 31st to November 2nd are also days of festivals of the dead. Those who practice Christianity go to cemeteries of their departed relatives on November 1st and light candles, so their loved ones might find their way to heaven or to home. Those who practice old pagan traditions, or some practice both the old pagan and modern Christianity, or modern Christian traditions, also host what the Scots and Irish called a dumb supper on November 2nd. The Slavs call this a dizzy. They set out a place at their dinner table, complete with extra spoons, and the family speaks in whispers, telling stories of their departed loved ones. They believe that any manifestation of nature during the dinner, from a breeze to an insect, represents an ancestral specific seasonal rituals related to each one. The Slavic people who still practice this live mainly in eastern Poland, Lithuania, and Belarus. Polish poet Adam Mickiewicz wrote a play about this folk practice, including scenes where villagers brought food and drink to abandoned houses, and then um, canceled, consoled the dead according to folk wisdom instead of according to the dominant Christian Moors. Hoptuna, the Isle of Man still celebrated or celebrates Hoptuna, a sort of ancestor to modern Halloween and distant of the original Samhain, considered an observance, of the Celtic as one that translates to this is old Hollantide night. The moon shines bright. Into the neighbors distribute coins in modern days for UNICEF, but sometimes even now for fireworks this day. Huh, there's a lot of them. The Great Britain bonfires of October 31st eventually moved to November 5th, while some areas referred to this time as Mischief Night. The Catholic Church, Church of England, eventually called it, guarding explosives intended to blow up the building. On this day, younger people set off fireworks and ring bells. Ostensibly, they misspelled a word, I think. Ostensibly, okay, maybe it's right, for the health and safety of the Queen and Parliament while burning effigies of Guy Fawkes. While meant as a warning against treason, the release of the movie V for Vendetta, subverted the meaning of Guy Fawkes Mass into a symbol of just rebellion. Hey. Guy Fawkes Day replaced the original Mischief Night and for the most part replaced the while not wet my whistle time. Hold up. Trying to get some of this down, y'all. Okay. Let's get the hair coiffed. Hold on a minute. Eyeball. Oh shit. Ah shit, son. Okay. While not all modern pagans necessarily celebrate Samhain or celebrate Samhain on October 31st, they often find reasons to come together at the end of October and the beginning of November. Many pagans organizations choose to start and stop their annual calendar around this date. Often pagans consider the holiday season that encompasses Thanksgiving and Christmas to begin with Samhain, which, with everything going on, we're going to have to really pay homage to everybody this year because we've lost a lot of people this year. No joke. I mean, we've had a lot of deaths this year, and there's been a lot going on, and yeah. Public rituals. Sometimes local covens or larger pagan organizations hold public rituals at Samhain. These rituals may be large. Well, that didn't make sense. Let's reread that. Let's reread that, Flames, because that did not make sense. These rituals. Let's see Missy Elliott here. These rituals may be small or large, indoors or outdoors. That made more sense. They often take place a few days before October 31st to accommodate those who have private celebrations on that date. Covenant of the Goddess and Reclaiming Traditions both have well-known annual public Samhain rituals. You can often find listings of these events in local pagan shops, online at The Witch's Voice, and sometimes via meetup.com. Did not know that. Witch's Ball. I've been wanting to go forever. And I'm not talking about playing with the male witches' balls either, because get your mind out the gutter. when in a position to do so, and that just sounded all kinds of wrong. Pagan communities throughout the United States will hold a witch's ball near Samhain, but not on it. My mind is in the gutter. Oh my God. So, as not to conflict with private Samhain celebrations, these celebrations often include food, drink, dancing, music, and of course, costumes. I love costumes. People, I had to pause. And I didn't do it on purpose. Well known witches' balls have happened in New Orleans, Denver, Detroit, and Salem. If you do not have one in your area, start one. Large gathering events take about a year to plan. So use your Solomon meditation time to figure out how best to go about starting the event and work some magic for the right people to help you to and work some magic for the right people to help you to come your the frack and work some magic for the right people to help you to come your way. No, you won't. Another mouthful. Okay. Secular gatherings and festivals. While someone like Dios las Muertes, I just love saying that, is still very much a religious festival, many pagans blend their sacred home traditions with some of the celebratory aspects of their sacred holiday. Often this includes participating in the fun events of the season. Horror movie marathons, masquerade, hay rides, and visiting haunted house. And oh my God, all of that is just up my alley. I could do that all year round. Seriously. Like if I had my own home and I could, this would be my home every day. Like horror movie thons all night long with my friends, campfires marshmallow, like bonfire night. I mean, everybody would love hanging out at my house because legit, that would be me. Like I would have like a different theme like every weekend or something. Like yes, which I mean right now renting is kind of hard to do what I want, but just getting chills thinking about things I want to do. This coronavirus don't kill out everybody. I have plans. Haunted houses. Yes, witch, yes. Every Halloween season also comes with fun events leading up to Halloween. Oh my God, don't get me started. One of the most popular activities is a haunted house. Now, I may be a witch, but you get me to, I live in a haunted house right now. I mean, legit. I live in every home that I pick. I swear to gosh, I don't do this intentionally. I lived in I don't know how many haunted trailers. I've lived in I don't know how many haunted houses. I lived in a haunted I've lived in God knows how many haunted apartments. I swear witches are beacons for it's like not intentionally invoking it, but it just bing bing bing. It's like The Shining. We go there and the shine is on and they're just like, can we eat you? It's like, no, you may not eat me. I am not a freaking cupcake. I am not a mystery pop. Get your freaking fingers off my fudgy pop. You may not eat me. Stop touching me. It's like they look at you thinking you're a popcorn snack. Like they think you're a popcorn ball. They think you're a freaking frizzy, like a cheesy dibble. It's like, dude, I'm not a freaking Cheeto puff. Get your freaking fingers off my cheesiness. You may not touch my cheesiness. Get off me. Like seriously. I need to put that on a shirt. I'm not a cheesy dibble. Stop touching me. And have a ghost trying to touch me. You know how many people would probably laugh at that shit? And then I'd have to try to explain what the shirt meant, and they'd be sitting there looking at me going, I don't get it. I'd be like, I need to talk to someone who's spiritually inclined that understands this, because you must be a blonde. Back to the book. Okay. One of the most popular activities is a haunted house. In this experimental theater, The audience walks through a darkened building and face frightening or silly scenes. The people who create them range from people fundraising for charities to artists wanting a new interactive medium to entertainment companies seeking profit from the billions that Halloween generates every year. I've always wanted to work in a haunted house, legit. So if there's any people out there wanting to hire someone that's crazy and silly for a haunted house, holler at your girl. Locations for haunted houses can be almost anything. They have been set in private homes, churches, old warehouse, shut down jails, and barns. Some farmers have even enhanced their traditional hay rides with haunted walks in the woods and monstrous scenery as a tractor pulls its passengers past. Now, if anybody hollers at me to work in a haunted house, you have to understand I have a lot of energy. I can be very scary. So if you're going to hire me, you better have the right energy for your haunted house to keep up with me. Because if you can't keep up with me, I'm going to steal the scene. You better have a good place, because I've worked at my mom's college for like the haunted house, and I literally had to kind of like come up with the idea for like the whole entire haunted house, and all they did was put two rooms, like I think it was like a lunchroom or like their conference room they put together for the haunted house, and all they had was like trash bags like to literally part in between for it. And they had certain people I was like the guide. So I was kind of like telling people, jump out here, spook here, do this here, touch someone here. And I was kind of like doing certain things to guide them through it. And I was like being even spooky myself. They actually said I was actually really scary. I actually led people through, and they were actually tipping people. They said that I did really good, they were getting a lot of reviews about the haunted house. And they were actually telling them that they didn't expect people to actually pay for the haunted house tour. They were getting paid for the haunted house tour. So, yeah. And I was only like 11. And I really had this crappy costume on. I mean, the costume was shit. I mean, I was dressed up like a witch vampire. And I had no design idea whatsoever. And I couldn't come up with a costume like on at that time. You know, my mom, single parent, was going to school trying to get a degree, so she and I could try to get a place over our head at the time. And so she was trying. I wasn't mad at her. But yeah, I came up with something on the fly. I had a cheap little cape, and I borrowed some of her makeup, like bullshit blood I had left over from a Halloween kit, and I darkened it up some, like gooey, goopy blood or something, and some bullshit I had left. And yeah, did the best work I could, and evidently I did really good. These people were scared easy, and I was like, y'all are the easiest scared people ever. I mean, these people were actually legit screaming. Like, they were like in like Dallas, Fort Worth scared. And I'm like, y'all people should not step out of El Paso.
Made.
Y'all, chill.
Bro, tell me to his dishes.
Okay.
Tell him to do it.
Ugh. Dre, you need to do your stuff, bud. Okay. Costume parties now. Let me take a drink of my tea. Yes. Sponsored by Arizona Green Tea. I wish I had some sponsorships. Their traditional of dressing as the frightening things of the night has given way to dressing as whatever might strike your fancy. For children, costumes are part of the exchanging of trick or treating. For adults, they are a way to have fun, sanctioned only at Halloween or science fiction conventions. I know I'm a big girl, but girl, quit wearing things that I know a lot of you guys like seeing them girls with things going up all over their crotch and things going up to their ass and pushing down to their boobs and making them up here like any freaking who. I'll tell you like it is. Okay. Yeah. The holiday, people also often wear costumes to work or while going about errands on Halloween day for pay. Oh yeah, I need to stop reading over. I need to take breaks for Halloween day. For pagans, wearing a costume is a matter of personal taste. Many participate in this fun, while others choose not to because they already wear robes and other specific ritual clothing during their actual ceremonies. Me, I love dressing up anyway. I mean, you know, I get extra saucy. Sometimes I get to experiment with something different. I get to be a little bit more alien. Sometimes I get a little bit more crazier with it, get a little bit more darker with my makeup, get a little bit more primitive. Sometimes I do get more primitive with my makeup sometimes when I'm doing ritualistic things, but it depends. So it depends on your taste and your flavor. It depends on the person. Trick or treating. What was once the poor going to wealthy houses and seeking soul cakes in exchange for prayers transformed into new world into wait. Damn it. I hate being dyslexic. For prayers transformed in the new world to small children approaching their neighbors with the call, trick or treat, trick or treat. Damn scary movie I watched. I get the name of that scary movie and tell y'all about it. The neighbors get the entertainment of seeing cute children in small costumes, and those who are not going, and those who are not parents often get to hand sugar to children they do not have to look after later. The ritual call trick or treat is not the genuine threat it once was. It used to be that if a neighbor, likely citing religious objections, refused to provide a treat to the children wandering door to door, a trick indeed would follow. The history of threshold tricks, removing pickets from fences or taking doors off hinges, gave way to smashed jack-o'-lanterns, eggs thrown at houses, toilet paper in yards, and broad-ranging pranks that run the border between vandalism and performance art. Ordinance regulating the ages of trick-or-treaters vary from city to city, but often these do help preserve the public fun in Halloween while minimizing the property damage. Nowadays, most people consider trick-or-treating a ritual formality rather than a genuine threat. Many pagans generally enjoy trick-or-treaters. Cute kids in costumes are always fun, and many pagans had children themselves, so they also participate. Most of the time, trick or treating happens before sunset, so that there isn't too much of a problem. Sometimes, however, when pagans are practicing their own solemn observations, they may need a quiet, uninterrupted time to observe. The custom when this happens is to leave the porch light off. Most trick-or-treaters respect the policy. Treats instead of candy. While we think of a treat as something to eat these days, a treat is any small thing that induces a sense of pleasure. To children, a toy, a story, or a new experience is as much of a treat as sugar. If you prefer to give something besides candy, consider one of these do it yourself approaches to satisfy trick or treaters. Small story scrolls. Print tiny stories about Halloween onto a sheet of paper, cut them into tiny sheets. Roll up the scrolls and tie them with a ribbon. If you have children, ask them to make up their own 3 or 4 line stories to go on the scrolls. That could be cute, but that might get you still egged, to be honest. I mean, kids, they want cavities. They want either candy, soda, video games. They want stuff, you know. Kids are kids, you know. They're not gonna they're not gonna respect something. I mean, if they're gonna want a story, they're gonna want like something really spooky, like Edgar Allan Poe, Sleepy Hollow type of stuff. I heard a tapping and rapping, something knocking at my door. You know, something like that. Something really ooey and, you know, creepy. And but I mean, kids, you know, ain't like that no more. I mean, I used to get into something like that, but there ain't a lot of kids like myself. You know, I mean, I was a freak. I was a gothic type of kid. I was like in the back of the nook reading like scary books like that. I was reading Edgar Allan Poe, R.L. Stein, Stephen King, nature. Especially the closer it got to Halloween, the closer I started picking books like that out of the library and start reading stuff like that. And then they started that just piqued my interest. Like Tiny Toons had their like spooky stories while I was reading. And so the scroll idea, no. Origami fortune cookies. Let's see what this entails. Honor the tradition. Let's start that again. My tongue got tied. Honor the tradition of solemn divination without adding the pile of sugar. Making paper fortune cookies out of origami paper or out of square cutting magazine paper and insert fun fortunes or silly facts on small sheets of paper that you insert inside of the cookie. Still no. Some kids might find it fun, but other kids might get pissed because they would still want something cool. Like a bat-shaped necklace or something cool like that. This, no. Even though I love this book, but these suggestions here, nah. Miniature cootie catchers. Honor the Samhain tradition of divination with this middle school origami trick called cootie catchers of paper fortune tellers. You can write down numbers, symbols, or names on the inside. These are simple to make, but can take some time. These make a good project during a scary movie marathon. Now, knowing kids, that might be interesting. So I remember the what will my boyfriend's name be? Now, if kids still do shit like that, pardon the expression, which it kind of has which is kind of like that. Yeah. So you would catch a cootie. Oh my God. But yeah. That I don't know. Yeah, no kids. Kids are kind of that. This idea might be a good idea for younger kids. Handmade rainbow crayons. Now this might be a good idea. If your family uses crayons heavily, which I know a lot of kids uses crayons heavily, so this might be a good idea. You probably have a collection of crayon stubs too. Small for you. Well, dang it, I need a drink. My throat's sore. I've been talking a lot, so my throat's sore, y'all. Don't freak out. Here's someone have sore throat and pull out the fucking spray like Sheldon. Okay, let me start off again. Handmade rainbow crayons. If your family uses crayons heavily, you probably have a collection of crayon stubs too. Too small for use, but too large to discard. Give them new life by making rainbow crayons. Gather the crayon stubs in a silicone mold of any shape you like. If you can get a Halloween theme mold, ooh, even better. Place the mold on a cookie sheet and place in your oven at its lowest setting. Leave for 30 minutes. Turn off the heat and remove the sheet and mold allowed to cool. When finished, you can pop the crayons out of the mold and you now have a rainbow crayon to give out to your trick-or-treaters. Now that is a good idea. I mean, I know a lot, like if you have a younger kid, they would dig a rainbow colored crayon, especially shaped in like a Halloween shape, like in a really crazy color. Like do it like in a stripe color, and have it melt that way without it getting like all a muted, weird, like caca brown color, then it would be badass. Like have kind of like a toothpick to like keep it, divided so it wouldn't like, but you kind of need it to blend together in a way. Okay. Give a book. In 2010, renowned fantasy and comic book writer Neil Gaiman made a proposal. Give away books for Halloween. You can gather books at a garage or library sales or gather stacks of books you won't reread. If you have a lot of thrift stores in your area, talk to the manager about buying out the children's books in bulk. You can often get a discount for taking inventory off their hands. Now, see, that's a good idea. But me, if I was going to do that, I would actually see if I can get certain age books. But it would have to be like in themes because like I would sometimes like see if I can get like age, like say can I get like from 3 up to at least 16 to 17, because I know 16 17-year olds still trick or treat, but instead of just handing it out in my area, I would go somewhere else and I know that they would give it out a lot, because I know a lot of kids like in church parking lots they get stuff that they don't like, and I would go to a church parking lot and they might get pissed at me. I would hand out the books there because they would like to get, kids would go there that would prefer to get something else, and I would hand out books there. Or the mall, I would hand out books at the mall, and like books, comic books, like if they would have like Spawn, Ghost Rider, like if they had it in bulk, I would. It's something that's something I would do personally myself. Like if they would have stuff like in Halloween, like R.L. Stein, if it wasn't vintage, myself, and I try to save it for my kids and save it for my grandchildren, I would do that. I don't have grandchildren yet. I've taught my boys right so far. So I would try to save it for them so they have something that my kids would pass on to their children, because I try to save my stuff and then pass it onward. Because I try to teach them, because a lot of my family before I'm not getting into it. I'm going on. Suggested activities. Halloween Samhain has a host of fun activities for adults or children. Fill the month of October with all sorts of spooky decor, service, activities, or divination games. Pumpkin carving. For older children and adults, pumpkin carving is still a messy but beloved Samhain tradition. If you can, carve pumpkins in an outdoor space, but if the weather does not permit, make sure to spread newspaper all over the working area, including areas you think couldn't possibly get pumpkin on them. Because guess what? It could possibly get pumpkin on it. It's possible, especially with children present. Yeah. If you want to tap into history and have more advanced carving skills, also buy some beets and turnips and carve those. You will have to work smaller, and unlike pumpkins, they are not as soft on the inside. So scooping them out takes much more work. And they stink. When done, when done, many people place tea lights inside. However, autumn winds do not always cooperate. So many people put LED lights and flashing lights inside. If you are feeling especially playful, put a noise making motion sensor toy inside. It will alert you if someone has wicked design upon your helpless pumpkin. Wicked designs. Okay. I'm like, what? Bonfires. I love doing bonfires any time of the year. That's just me. A bonfire goes back to the days of the Druids. That's probably part of my Irish and Scottish part of me. When the surrounding villagers doused their hearth fires and then lit them from a flame carried from the Samhain fire. While the modern power companies have made this tradition moot, the bonfire still aligns with those old rites. Try having a formal ceremony where you light a candle from the fire that you then bring into your house. You may also want to practice scrying by gazing at the bottom of the flames, observing what visions flash within your mind. I do that quite often. Fun with apples. Apples configured into harvest celebrations from September through November, associated with the wicked witches that are everywhere during Samhain season. Apple games flavor the season. Apple peel divination, sorry. While this used to determine the initial of who a young man or woman might marry, these days lengthen lifespans and less economic need for marriage has transformed it. So, should you take a vegetable peeler or paring knife and strip an apple of its skin in one long slice and throw the peel over your shoulder, assume that the letters it forms are the initials of your next romantic partner, whether or not you end up married. Apples on a string. If you set up a bonfire, try playing this divination game. Tie one string each to 3 apples. The first apple to fall belongs to the one who will marry first. If an apple clings to its string until the fire dies down, that person will never marry. Ooh, that's sad. Snap apple. This works best in a space that has rafters or open pipes. Pies. Open pipes. Suspend apples from the rafters with a string or tie the apples to a pole that can reach the ceiling. Have a contest to see who can get a bite from the apple while keeping his or her hands behind his or her back. Bobbing for apples. Save this game for adults or older teens. This might lead to some safety issues or at least lost retainers. Why would you have your retainer in your mouth while you're bobbing for apples, I might ask? With the youngsters set, float apples in a large tub of apple. water. I did that on purpose. Again, players may not use their hands and may only remove the apples with their teeth. Sometimes the Scottish would throw a silver coin in the bottom of the tub, usually claimed by the lucky person with the best lung captivity. This game is usually more enjoyable for teenagers and adults than for the younger children because they end up falling all the way into the freaking tub. Make your own haunted house. I did that once and I almost scared everybody in my bedroom. While visiting haunted houses is fun, working in one is even more fun. You may take a serious, scary, or silly approach to it. Perhaps set up a three-dimensional walk through your favorite underworld and have the tour guides aspect those that guided the dead. You may also want to reenact favorite scenes from horror movies or horror spoofs, or have people meet different dead celebrities along their path. Consider this if you are looking for a fundraiser for current pagan organizations. What I meant by I had scared someone in my bedroom, me and my best friend were invoking a certain said spirit, and when certain guys were trying to mess with my best friend, so they were trying to flirt with her and act like they had a crush on her and stuff and everything. So it got pretty bad to where we acted like we had invoked the spirits into her and we were flinging her all over the room with the spirit. It was pretty damn funny. Scared the shit out of the guys, and so they wouldn't mess with us for a whole minute. Funnier than shit. Gotta love it when you're twisted and you pay attention to horror movies and you know how to reenact everything, especially when you take theater arts class and they don't pay attention to nothing because all they do is sleep in class, and you and your said best friend pay attention to everything because you're both smart and well, needlessly to say, horrified them. All we had to say is it was fun. Yes, I copy Matthew Lillard for those who pays attention to the movie Scream. I reenact a lot of stuff. Adopt an ancestor. I have a lot. Most communities have old cemeteries in them. Some still get loving maintenance, while others languish in neglect, which that is very sad. This decay especially happens in rural cemeteries. Host a solemn procession in a cemetery, which I do. I actually go sometimes to different cemeteries and I help clean them up, and I put flowers on some that they don't get love, and that's why I take certain pictures at certain cemeteries because a lot of the dead get forgotten. So I go pay homage to a lot of the dead that get forgotten, and I dust them off, and it's just something I do for them. So I adopt a lot of ancestors, which, yeah, I'm just a sweetheart like that. Host a solemn procession in a cemetery and one that allows you to strew flowers. Go to a cemetery with a friend or two or with your children and look closely at a neglected grave sites. Look closely at the neglected grave sites. If it feels right to you, tend to that grave site. Clean off any leaves or debris. Call in any vandalism you happen to see to the cemetery keepers, and when done, give a small offering of water to the soil of the grave before you leave. Pause to address a prayer to the gods or the land, asking that this soul be restful and the grave be honored. This is a general way of honoring all ancestors, especially those time has forgotten. which I do that, like I said, quite often. Adopt a living ancestor. This is a good time of year to volunteer in nursing homes. I used to do that when I had my empathy off, and before my grandpa passed away, I could do that. And it was far easier to go to a nursing home and care for them and, talk to them and, you know, not think of them, you know, they're going to die tomorrow possibly, or they're going to die in a week, or, there's someone's grandparent, there's someone's dad, because I had a very immature mindset at that time. But when my grandpa passed away, I had a very rude awakening. And I had a very firm understanding that time was fleeting, time was waning, and you could be taken at any given time. The time is far more precious than we understand. And it hurt me more than I thought. And every time I saw an older person, because after my grandpa passed away, it's like my empathy kicked in. And the older I got, the stronger I got with my empathy. And it's like every year my empathy got stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And then once I hit my 30s, my empathy just came full force. So it's like, oh my God, it came overpowering. So every time I see an older man, it makes me think of my grandfather, and it hits me like a Native American drum just hitting my heart. And I just want to go to them, and I want to protect them, and I want to hug them, and I want to love them. And if I could see that love in them, I just want to just protect them. But it has to be a certain type of a man. Because sometimes I can see an evil within them, and then sometimes I can see a sweetness in them. So it's different. But I did a lot of nursing home help. I would actually go volunteer a lot of times because I helped take care of my grandpa a lot, because my grandpa could hardly walk. So his legs and his feet were really bad swollen. And it's things that my family, it's why I was mad at my family a lot. They didn't understand my grandpa's health. And I had family that lied a lot, that made up different stories. They didn't see what my grandpa went through. They didn't see what my grandma really went through. They made up different things. And reading this is kind of triggering certain things. So I'm trying to not be as emotional. But my grandpa's feet, and up to about, I'd say, a quarter half to his knee was swelling, from quarter half to his knee down to his foot was swollen up bad, because he had poor circulation, and he had blisters all over his legs. And then his feet was like red, like about red, like this color red here, like the circle part almost. And it was from poor circulation. They don't understand why his feet got like that. Any type of water that touched his leg, it actually hurt sometimes. But if I did it, it weirdly enough didn't hurt, which was really weird. So I would have to bathe his feet. So I would do it a certain way where it wouldn't hurt because I had to put certain salts to clean it in the water to disinfect it. And then I would have to put a certain cream to keep his legs moisturized so they wouldn't dry and crack because he had a lot of cracking in his legs. If it got too bad cracked, it would bleed. Now, I'm not trying to gross anybody out, but I'm just trying to explain it a little bit. And I trimmed his toenails for him because he couldn't do it. And at that time, um, the VA wasn't really taking good care of him. They weren't offering to do hardly anything from him. My grandmother screwed it up to where he couldn't be on his oxygen tank. He was supposed to be on his oxygen. She had messed it up and then turned around and blamed it on me because I was chewing them out, telling them he needed to be on oxygen because he could barely breathe. And then she was telling them he didn't need it. And then when we left, she chewed me out. And I'm like, Grandma, you were telling them he didn't need it. And I was telling them he did. And then she slapped my face. So there's just a whole bunch of things that went on. And this is kind of triggering it for me. But yeah. So working in a nursing home is good. But if you're an empathy, I wouldn't tell you to turn it off because being an empathy is good. It's your way to understand if you're safe. So do not turn that gift off. You need that gift. Never turn it off because that right there, if you're around someone that's going to hurt you, if you're around someone that's a bad person that you can maybe pick up on, someone that's going to hurt somebody else that's around you that you maybe be able to alert somebody, I do not suggest anybody turn off their empathy because I've actually picked up on a lot of stuff. I've actually saved someone's life a couple of times. So don't ever turn off your empathy whatsoever. I've actually helped a lot of cops on a lot of cases. So I do not suggest turning it off. Um, I just tell people that if they have nerves of steel, they can handle it and do it because helping someone out, it's the greatest reward. I took care of my grandmother, even though it bothered me, but I promised my grandfather I'd do it. So that's why I did it. So I'm going to try to hurry up and read this. Come on my 2 hour mark. I didn't think it was going to be this long, but I'm trying to. I got 3 more pages and then I can finish. We're almost there, guys. Okay. This is a good time of year to volunteer in nursing homes. Since this is a time of ancestral exploration, it's also a good time to talk to the strangers next door about their own history. The world has changed rapidly in the past century, especially in the ways we travel and share information. Spend some time in interviewing those born before 1950 about how they used to celebrate Halloween, and if they didn't, ask what they did during autumn. Create a safer Halloween. If too many people in your community use Halloween as an excuse for bad behavior, make an effort to change that. Most police force most police forces or sheriff's departments have a citizens based volunteer corps that can patrol the streets and keep an eye out for harmful behavior. If you can also connect with someone who runs the neighborhood watch on your street. Perhaps. However, if you live in a community where the police run into misunderstandings with public pagan rituals rather than repeating difficult cycles and hoping nothing will happen, be proactive. Offer yourself or your group as a resource to the police when they think a crime might involve the occult, and invite them to friendly questions and answer sessions well before any public ritual. Be sure to inquire with your parks department or city hall about public ordinance that might concern your group if you are doing a public outdoor ritual, which I ran into that myself when my mom and myself, it was just two of us performing rituals, and we were being harassed by the cops because people were constantly just messing with us when we were out there just casting spells. Me and my mom, when we were just doing our full moon rituals and our new moon rituals, and it was just us. Like seriously, like we were out. Like, did you see us cutting anything? Did you see us sacrificing anything? Like, are you serious, dumbasses? And the cops were there. We were like, do you see us doing anything? Seriously? Talking about ignorance and racism against religion, spirit, not spiritual respect. While this won't work in all areas, sometimes people's superstitions about uh, religions other than their own will always outweigh the facts. And they call us religion, spiritual, y'all. But in other areas, the police appreciate proactive outreach. Ugh, I hate it when they consider us religions. Have a divination party. Samhain is a season for divination. Invite like-minded friends over to try out modern and historical methods of pro- prognostication. Prognostication? Prognostication? What the frack? Try reading for one another using tarot, runes, the I Ching, or even a magic 8 ball. If you feel adventurous, make a game or inventing a divination method. Perhaps serve an Irish divination based dessert. Make a cake and bake in a ring, a thimble, and a coin. The ring means marriage. The thimble being single, and the coin riches. If you can clean up your roof easily and you won't anger the landlord or neighbors, try throwing shoes over your house. Wherever the shoe lands, point the direction that the person who throws it will go in the next year. I don't even know what that means. If you have practiced reading tea leaves, try serving tea. Or perform the egg white divination, where you drop egg white from a pierced egg into a glass of water and read the shapes therein. Keep a bowl of hazelnuts available. If you have a bonfire going, guests can take 2 hazelnuts, name each one after a person, and throw them into the fire. If they crackle and jump apart, these two people are incompatible. If they jump closer, they get on just fine. Take turns with guests, having them hold water in their mouths and listening to the party outside of the window. The first names they hear in the eavesdropped conversation will be the name of significance to them in the coming year. The candle chain. Druid traditions found ways to survive in the new forms in historic Ireland, while lighting all hearth fires from the sacred Samhain fire disappeared in Christian tradition. The Irish found a clever way around it. A clergyman, James Keller, once said, "A candle loses nothing by lighting another candle." In October, Irish women set about making one candle to represent their household. The woman of the household would then light the candle and take it to her neighbor, offering prayers of blessing. The neighbor would then light a candle she made from that flame, which she in turn gave to the neighbor. Soon each house stood connected, light by light, from the passing of the candle to each household. Start a chain of candle prayers just like the old Irish. Ask a few magic friendly friends to join you on this. If it goes well, you can make it a running tradition. If you want to make a if you want to make candles, wonderful. But simply buying a bag of tea lights or voltives or any color will do. Blah, blah, blah. Tell stories. Telling Storytelling is how all spiritual traditions continue and grow. Samhain itself may have the richest soil of all for these stories. Every human being has some type of story in them, even if it's a small one. Tell a story about a grandparent, something that he or she taught you. It was funny, I was just talking about my grandfather. Something that he or she did that made you laugh, something that made you wonder about the mysteries of their life or the memories that they never shared with you. If you can spin a spooky yarn, do. Often people love to share tales of their personal spooky experiences, such as moments sighting ghosts or sensing the future. The most diverting evenings are the ones filled with stories shared. Hold a magical movies marathon. I love doing that. One of the less verbalized themes of Solomon is one that horror and fantasy movies capture the best. Magic is possible. Invite friends over who also love the genre and watch some movies or television shows that explore the themes of magic, life after death, bending veils and times, and alternative worlds. Some suggested titles you might want to try: Dead Like Me, Waterfalls, Practical Magic, Mirror Mask, What Dreams May Come, Haven, Midnight in Paris. I like Haven. Haven's actually pretty good. Practical Magic's my favorite. The Craft, another good one. Hold a Salmon Veal. Veal. The Irish used to sit up with a hearth fire on Salmon night. If you don't have a fire to tend, you can still do some fire related. Make candles. Use this time to meditate on the year past and set intentions for the year ahead. You may have more success if you only choose one goal and spend the evening planning the small steps you need to take to achieve that single goal. If you prefer a quieter evening, keep yourself up with this crafty pursuit. Samhain is a very serious holiday. Just keep as Halloween is immensely fun. This does not cause conflict for most pagans because celebration is often just as much a part of pagan religions as reverence. Many pagans are especially fond of both Halloween and Samhain. These holidays honor the dead and let us remember their fun and funny moments when alive. Halloween also encourages us to face our fears and celebrate that magic is possible. Finish that whole chapter. The next one we'll be on is spells and divinations. So we'll end it there. So I'll get to post this in the group. And oh, excuse me. So ladylike. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm tired now. I can eat a snack and relax. Yay! I've been needing to do that. So we are almost, let's see. We are like that much in. So we're doing good. I'm not rushing myself because we're on quarantine. So, and I like being on quarantine because I'm kind of self isolated anyway. I'm always that way pretty much. And when I'm not, I have earbuds in listening to music, walking around and self isolating from people anyway because I have a small net circle and I tend to my own type of people, and my own type of people, they're like me. We self isolate. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoy the reading and me etching up. Um, and yeah. Gotta love it when you have an itchy scalp. Anywho, um, uh, yeah. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm gonna do my best to work on my meditation, like I've been telling everybody. And I'm gonna be working on doing some spell work in the next few videos. And the next few tarot readings I'm gonna be recording. I'm gonna probably do pre-records because right now, I don't know if, like I said, I could deal with reading for people right now because of everything I'm picking up. I'm trying to worry about current status on the world. I read for other people. I'm a pick up on their anxiety, them being chaotic. I'm going to feel everything from them, and I'm going to be picking up on that. And it's going to go into the card. So it's going to be mixed emotions on what I'm reading. So I'm not doing readings for nobody right now. I'm going to have to explain that in the group as well, that I'm running with my mom. And so all readings right now for anybody is on a halt. Readings I'm doing is pretty much out for the entire universe. So any reading you see me doing is pertaining to everybody in the world, not just one person. So everybody needs to stop just worrying about themselves. Worry about everybody around you, because we're in this together. We're not just in it for ourselves. I mean, my husband and myself, we've actually been giving bread and tortillas to our neighbors because where my husband works. Luckily, they've had an abundance of bread and tortillas in the factory where he works at, since he's a truck driver. So he's been actually handing it out to our neighbors that we're close to. We're giving back to our community. We're trying to do a little bit that we can to help. People have offered us money for it. We haven't taken money for it. So we're doing the little bits that we can to help our community so far. If they give us other stuff to give, we're going to offer it back to the community as much as we can. So we're being very selfless. We're not being selfish. We're being selfless. We're actually giving back to our community as much as possible to help out other people in need. So that's what I tell people, get what you can. Don't be thinking strictly me, 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 me. And that's what we've been doing. We've been getting stuff that we need to sustain ourselves, but also thinking about, what? Other people also need stuff to sustain themselves as well. So we haven't been overbuying, overstocking. We're just doing enough to keep us sustained. And if we need more, we can go back to the store and try to get what we can. And if it's not there, we can order it online, hopefully, and hopefully it'll be there. So we're trying to take a more positive initiative and not go crazy. And I'm trying to remain positive and keep a positive head on myself, even though I highly dislike the president. And I shared my view on here. I did my reading on him. I did the reading on the current state that we're in. If we're going to get back on top, if things are going to be okay, we just need to stay where we're at and just let things fall where they may and work on being safe, because if we rush back in, things are going to get worse. So people need to be safe and focus on being healthy and focus on doing the right thing, because I know this is a scary time, because People are worried, like, oh my gosh, work. Oh my gosh, this. We will be taken care of. The gods and the goddesses, they will provide for us. They will take care of us. There is a will, there is a way. They will provide. We will not go without. We will not starve. We will not die off. They will not leave us without. They will not abandon us. And there is a provision. They have to provide. That's why he's pushing us to get back out to work, because he's afraid that he's going to have to keep providing. What they're more worried about is the stock market. They're worried about the big tycoons that are complaining, because they're more worried about things that is affecting them. The big, like, Wall Street Journal type of people, the people that, they depend on us people pushing out things for them. The small minority businesses, they are actually making money. They are still in service. They are still doing things. They are still serving out stuff. Everywhere is still making money because they are finding ways to make money. So places are still turning out. The places that are not doing well are the big tycoon people. The people that are millionaires, the people that are not making money, are the people that have money, that are scared that they're going to lose their money. So people need to wake up and pay attention. Okay? Like all the stores that we buy stuff from. Okay? The places that are doing without, big hotels, resorts, the stock market, Wall Street Journal, hotels, like I said, cruises, places that are big luxury places that we do not need. They're losing out money. They're complaining. We don't need these type of places. These are places that are what you consider luxury places that we really don't need. They're luxury. Like if you go to apply for benefits, like for anything, for like Medicaid, Medicare, these are what they consider your luxury places, your luxury items, things that you don't need. Trump is a luxury item. What he's trying to push people into doing so they can get people, their luxury people, their money. Everywhere is turning out. Dollar General, they're still working. All the restaurant people are still churning out businesses. All the big stores are still churning out businesses. Makeup industry, they can go in and still ship. Okay, people can still wear makeup. People can still go to work because why? Hospitals are still open. They're still seeing people. People are still getting seen. They're still seeing 10 people per time in hospitals, depending on where the hospital people are at. They're still being careful because of COVID-19. So things are still going in the business route. They're just being more careful. So who's complaining? Tycoons. People need to pay attention, and people need to be smart, and people need to not rush in, because I understand that this is scary, but the places that are getting hit are people that are not important, and I hate to say that. It's places that are not really necessary. Places that people can go get other jobs. I hate to say that. Hair salons, nail salons. People can actually, you can go to someone's house if they're not sick. You could do their hair there. You could do their hair at their house. You could do house calls if they're not sick. You could start doing COVID testing at someone's house. Get them a test sent to their house and make sure they don't have COVID-19, and get their hair done at their house. Get their nails done at their house. If you guys want to see a stripper or a prostitute, live stream it. Set up a cash account, PayPal account. Make sure it's valid. Pay the girl online. There is always a will and a way for these places of non-necessary places. They can still make money. We don't have to go back out in the world to get sick. They're trying to rush us back out into the world, that are trying to get us sick, that are trying to kill us people, that are their slave workers, that do everything for them. They're trying to kill us. They do not give a shit about us. They are trying to kill us, people. So you guys need to wake up. I'm not mad. I'm not trying to, like I said, I'm putting this just here because I want to read the Samhain. I wanted to explain the tarot card reading. I'm just putting this out here because I want a lot of people to think, and I want a lot of people to honestly mow this over and think about it. A lot of the major businesses that are taking care of us are still open. We are not hurting. We are not in dire danger as they're making out that we're needing to be pushed back out. We need to stay in isolation until this shit dies off. If we rush back out into this, we're going to get sick. There's going to be more people being put in the hospitals, more people dying, more everything. The reason why is because he has a quota to meet with the religious sanctity. He is trying to meet that quota to fill the fear factor. People need to wake up and believe this shit and hear it, because he is trying to meet a quota. And people are going to rush out and believe it because guess what? They're more fearful of money. They're more fearful of the medical bills. They're more fearful of everything. This man, they need to pay us for this shit because he, for one, screwed up. He knew about this virus. He should have took care of this, but he didn't. He boasted that he was going to be better than Obama. Obama knew supposedly about the H1N1, blah, 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 blah. And look who's had the worst epidemic yet. Trump. So I rest my case, world. Trusting him. And you're going to believe him that we need to get back out there in the work industry and take a chance to die. Take a chance for your children to die, your grandchildren to die, your husbands, your wives, your mothers, your fathers, your grandparents, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins. I don't know about y'all, but my family's a little bit more important. My husband still works. He's working in a safe way. He still has a job. Everybody can still work in a safe way. There's a way people can work at home. And people that can't work, guess what? The United States needs to pay for it. Because guess what? The president messed up. And guess what? The president owes me because my child's going to be at home. Because he knew about this virus and he should have done the right thing and he should have took care of it. And guess what? He shouldn't have helped create this virus because of his friends, Kim Jong-un and Putin. They made a designer virus and it was called COVID-19 and it smelled like a war because he wanted to go after who? Iran. Because he wanted to do this thing over the Bible. I'm leaving this up to y'all. I'm not starting a fight. I'm not doing anything for controversy. It's just food for thought. I'm not trying to start a fight. I'm not wanting anybody to get mad. These are just my personal words. I'm just wanting people to think about it. Because believe me, if he pushes for everybody to get back out there, my kid's not going back to school. Because my child's life is far more important. Because Texas, we are in the high alert. So my child will be homebound. He at right now, I have been helping him and he's been getting good grades and I've been helping him do his tests. I've been helping him do everything. I understand the computer very well. So he will be homebound until this shit calms down. And every parent out there needs to think about this shit because I don't know about y'all, but I ain't letting my kid die. Y'all want your kids coming home dead? Go for it. My son was sick a month before this shit hit because teachers wouldn't take time off. Other parents were sending their kids to school sick. Other people were out there coughing, not covering their mouths. They were just coughing. So if you guys want to send people out there, go ahead, knock yourselves out. We barely step outside our home right now. We just go out and hang out in our backyard. That's just the slew miles for me. That she's like my best friend in the whole wide world. I love her to death, and I really want to go see her. She's like my sister, and it's breaking my heart because I can't go see her. But I have to wait. I have to wait till this shit's gone. I have other people I want to go see. I haven't been able to even go put flowers on my grandfather's grave in San Antonio. And that breaks my heart because I finally got my anxiety under control so I could go down there. I was supposed to go down there this November to go put flowers on my grandfather's grave, but I wasn't able to go. It was my fault, but now with this shit, I regret not going. I'm going to try maybe with my whole entire family wearing masks to go down there this year. But yeah. But that's just some of it. I wish y'all good health. I send y'all good blessings, and I hope the best for all of y'all. I really do. I wish y'all everything the best. For all my good friends, my viewers, my subscribers, we're really in dark times because we have a sorry ass president. It has nothing to do with religion. It has to do with them just trying to prove a point. I pray the best for all of y'all, and I send y'all my blessings. I send y'all my love, and I hope this greets y'all well and meets y'all on a good day. And as one of my favorite YouTubers says, make it a great day. And you need to make it a great day because you never know how many days you may have left. So try to make it a good day as much as you possibly can because we don't know how many good days we have left. You know, today wasn't a given. Tomorrow's never promised. So smile for today and be blessed that you had today. And thank the gods and the goddess that you had today. I love you guys and be safe out there. Cover your mouths when you fucking cough and wash your hands for God's sake. I love you guys. Bye.